welcome to another video. Today we're doing a Leeds United team of the decade. I've gone through quite a few players who used to play for us or still do play for us, and I've tried to compile a team of the best players or the best starting 11 that I could find. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting off in goal, I've put Kiko Casilla. He's played 35 games for us this season. He's missed 2 due to allegedly being racist towards Jonathan Lecco, who went to Charlton at the start of the season. He's got an 8-game ban for that. He'll be back for the final 2 games of the season, which I believe is Derby away and also Charlton at home. Together, Kiko's played 52 games for Leeds. He's probably been one of the best keepers we've had in the last 15-20 years. He made his debut at Rotherham away last season. He made a brilliant save when one of the Rotherham players shot from about 20 to 25 yards out. It was going in. Somehow Kiko managed to get over to it. And he's also won a couple of Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. Fair enough, he hasn't played in most of the games, but he's still got a Champions League winners medal or a couple. We signed Kiko on a free transfer. We bought his contract out, so it kind of cost us between 1.5 and 2 million, which is an absolute bargain for a keeper of his quality on his day. He's very good with his feet. He has saved us in an awful lot of games. Fair enough, people will say he's cost us games. He's conceded some easy goals, but also look at the games that he's saved us in. For example, Hull at home this season saved the ball off the line and we've gone up the other side of the pitch and scored when Alioski put one in. At left back, I've gone for Charlie Taylor. He's come through the academy at Leeds. He was brilliant when he played for us. He very rarely had an off day, putting some amazing crosses. I think we all know that one of his best assists of his Leeds United career was Chris Wood's header against Brighton and Hove Albion when he swung the ball in. Wood headed it to the far post. Played 93 times for the club. His debut was against Bradford City in 2011 in the League Cup, which is now known as the Carabao Cup. Fortunately, he didn't sign the contract to renew his stay, and he decided that he was going to refuse against Wigan away in the final game of the season when we had Gary Monk. We had to win 14-0 to get into the playoffs on the final day. So Burnley snapped him up on a pretty much free transfer, but they had to pay between 6 and 7 million in compensation. So if he signed the contract, who knows, he could have been playing first team for us now, hopefully going to the Premier League. Of what I've seen of Burnley, he's been playing a few times for them. Charlie Taylor is my left back in this team. So at centre back, I've got one of the best English defenders in the league, if not in England altogether at the minute. Gone for Ben White. He's been absolutely brilliant when he's played for us this season. He's played both defence, centre defensive midfield when Phillips has either been injured or suspended. And honestly, I've never seen a defender as good as he is at centre back. The composure that he's got on the ball when it goes to him, for a young lad, he's only 22, is unreal. I remember seeing him when we played Newport away in the FA Cup a few years ago, when we got beat 2-1, and it was pretty good that day. Obviously went to Peterborough last season, he's done well there. Thankfully he's having his first season in Championship with us, and he looks as ready as anyone could be for the Premier League. Brighton value him at around 40 million, which for a player of him, if you're paying 80 million for Harry Maguire, then 40 million for Ben White, that's a robbery for any team that signs him. I'd say there's only Phillips and probably Pablo Hernandez who've got a better range of passing than Ben White has. I remember his assist to Bamford against Luton when he ran through pretty much the whole attack up to the midfield and played it through to Bamford, and Bamford put it in. He hasn't picked up a red card for us or anything yet. He's played every game. As I say, whether it's been in defence or midfield, he's played absolutely brilliantly. I'd say Ben White going to be in the England team in the next few years, if not for the Euros next year, hopefully. Hopefully if we go up, he'll be one of the first players who we sign. So in the other centre-back position, people are going to be thinking I'm going to say Pontus Jansson, but I'm not. I'm going to say Liam Cooper. I think Cooper's has been brilliant this last couple of years under Bielsa. So Cooper's played 176 games for Leeds. He's our captain. Made his debut against Middlesbrough at home in 2014. It was the first home game of the season, beaten 1-0 with a Billy Sharp goal. Cooper signed from Chesterfield in 2014 for the fee between £500,000 and £750,000. And if we go up, then who knows how much he'll be valued at. Played an awful lot of games as captain. He's had so many good games. He has made a few mistakes, but you know, every player's going to make mistakes, especially at centre-back. So yeah, I'd say Cooper and Ben White be centre-back partnership like they are this season in the actual team for us. So that gives us one more defender to put into the team. At right back, we've gone for Luke Ayling. He's probably been one of the best bit of businesses that we've done in the last couple of years. He signed for around £750,000 on the Gary Monk, and what a signing he's been. One of the best right backs in the league on his day, quite consistent. He's played 135 games for the club. He's usually the captain when either Cooper or Hernandez don't play, and he does a very good job at that. Ayling scored some very good goals this season. He scored a very good outside of the foot shot against Birmingham City away in the 5-4 win. And it'd be a bit rude not to talk about the volley he scored against Huddersfield Town in the final game before the coronavirus outbreak, where he just rifled it, hit crossbar and in. Best right back in the league by a mile, in my opinion. I think couldn't be else. Luke Ayling's been 1,000 times better than what he was under Christiansen, Heckingbottom and Monk altogether. Off midfield, we've gone for Jack Harrison. Played 74 games for Leeds, he scored 9 goals, got 11 assists. One of his most important goals this season had been Reading away, when he pretty much run the full length of the pitch in the 85th minute. Harrison's currently on loan from Man City for the second season in a row. Man City want between £8 and £10 million, it's rumoured, for Jack at the end of the season if we want to buy him. Personally, that's an absolute bargain, I think. He's played brilliant in the games he's played. Last season he wasn't as good as he has been this year, but you could see that there were signs that he was going to improve and that he's got very high potential to become a very good player. He spent a couple of years at New York City in the MLS, and I watched a few games of him when he was there, and he looked pretty good there as well. But he's only 23-year-old at the moment, so he has got a lot of his career left, and he's going to be a very good player in the future. But just like Ben White, any team that signed Harrison, whether it's a championship team or a team abroad, they've got a very good player. Hopefully we'll be able to get Jack Harrison come the end of the season. Hopefully he'll be a Premier League player with Leeds next year. Defensive midfield spot, obviously we've gone for Calvin Phillips, the Yorkshire Polo himself, being absolutely brilliant in the games that he's played for us. I remember him making his debut against Wolverhampton Wanderers when we got beat 4-3. Phillips played pretty well, and then his first home game he scored against Cardiff City. Phillips has played 159 games for the club. He scored some very important goals. He scored in the centenary game against Birmingham City at home. But yeah, Phillips has been one of our most influential players. The range of passing that he's got is unbelievable. We currently value him at around £40 million. There's been inquiries from all sorts of teams, like Tottenham. Aston Villa also tried to sign him last year when they went up. I believe they was only looking to sign him if they sold John McGinn to Man United. £40 million for one of the best English centre defensive midfielders. Played very well against Arsenal when we played them in the FA Cup, when he was coming up against the likes of Lacazette, Nicolas Pepe, Mesut Ozil. And yeah, played very well in that game, so did Ben White. So it just shows how good they can be in the Premier League and how influential if we go up next year. He also came through the Leeds Academy. He's a Leeds fan. He's from Leeds. Field, we've got Stuart Dallas. Thought Dallas deserved a place in the starting team. Signed from Brentford in 2015. He's been one of the most adaptable players that we've had in years. He can play anywhere on the pitch. I'm surprised we haven't tried to play him up front yet. He's played left wing, right wing, centre midfield, right back, left back. One of Dallas's best games for us was definitely Derby at home in the playoff semi-final last year. He scored both goals for us. That was one of his best ever games I've seen him play. Dallas has played 168 games for the club. We signed him for around £1.3 to £1.5 million, which is a bargain, especially for a player of his quality. He made his debut at home against Burnley in 2015. Mirko Antonucci scored a brilliant goal in that game. I believe we drew 1-1. Dallas's most recent goal for the club was Birmingham City away. But right midfield is where he actually started when he played for us at first, so that's why I've put Dallas at right midfield. So in central attacking midfield, I've gone for the Spanish wizard Pablo Hernandez. The range of passing on him is unbelievable. The pick-outs that he can do to find an assist is unbelievable. He's got a goal or two in him every couple of games. He signed on loan from Qatar club Al Arabi in 2015 when we had Gary Monk in charge. They didn't renew his contract, or he didn't sign the contract, so he signed for us on a permanent basis, and he's been absolutely quality since. He has his off days, but they're very unlikely to happen. The amount of games he's won us is unreal. My favourite goal from Pablo Hernandez has got to be the one against Cardiff City in his debut year in 2015 when it went off the far post and in. Although Hernandez's goal against Nottingham Forest earlier on at the start of this season was a very good finish, my favourite from this year has got to be Bristol City away. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to go to that one because I were on holiday. Yeah, that was one of my favourite goals from this season by Pablo Hernandez, and he's my central attacking midfielder. So now on to strikers. I've gone for Ross McCormack on this one. I thought Ross McCormack on his day was brilliant for us. We signed him from Cardiff City for around £300,000 to £400,000. What a signing that was. McCormack played 144 games for the club. He was the captain in his final couple of years. In his 144 games, he scored 53 goals. A couple of my favourites was against Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield Town. I can still remember the one he scored against Bradford when we played Tottenham at home in the FA Cup. We've also Luke Varney scoring that game when we beat him 2-1. Then unfortunately, Ross McCormack handed in a transfer request. I believe the first one that he handed in got declined, and then he sent in another one and that got accepted unfortunately in 2014. Then he joined for Fulham in that year for around 11 to 12 million pounds, which seemed like a massive loss. I must say I would love to see a fit Ross McCormack in the team that we've got now and just see how many goals he'd score for us or how much he'd contribute to the team and where we'd be in the league with someone of his quality that he had when he was with us. I'd say Ross McCormack is one of my two strikers in this team. Next up in the other striking position, the final position of the starting 11, I've gone for Chris Wood, one of the best strikers we've had in years, scoring 41 goals in 83 games. Chris Wood signed in 2015 from Leicester City for around £2.5 to £3 million. It's an absolute bargain for the amount of goals that he scored for us. Chris Wood finished top scorer in the 2016-17 season with 27 goals. I believe the last player to get the top scorer position for us was Ross McCormack. Unfortunately, Chris Wood didn't play against Sunderland away in 2017. He continued his talks with Burnley, and then a couple of days later it got made official that Chris Wood had signed for Burnley for around, I believe it was 12 million at the time. With add-ons it went up to 15 million. So unfortunately we lost Chris Wood, but I believe with the amount of goals he'd have scored under Bielsa for us, we'd have been promoted last season. But I would love to see Chris Wood in a team like we've got now. With the amount of chances that we get. That is my starting 11 team for the Leeds United team of the decade. So for my bench, I'm not going to go into full detail, but the 7 players I picked to go on the bench, I thought Butland was very good when he was on loan for us. He was only here when he was just coming through the ranks at Stoke. Janssen, he had a few good years for us, but unfortunately the way that it ended last year was a bit of a disappointing end. People think Pontus Jansson deserves to be in the starting team, but I just thought when we was not in the lead of a game, I didn't think Pontus Jansson looked as interested as he should have been. Then on to Sam Byram. I thought Byram played brilliant when he was in his debut year for us after coming through the academy. Unfortunately, he wanted to leave to go to West Ham. It's a shame that we lost Byram, but the money that we got wasn't too bad. Next up is Mateusz Klich. I think Klich has been absolutely brilliant under Bielsa. Under Christiansen, he had a couple of bad games. People say one of his worst games was Cardiff City away. I didn't think he played too bad, and then he went on loan and then he's come back under Bielsa. He's played every game since then in the league, never been red carded for us. He's been absolutely brilliant since then. The loan spell's done him the world of good. So the next player on my bench is Lewis Cook. He's now at Bournemouth, left a couple of years ago. I'd love to see someone of Cook's quality under a manager like Bielsa. Came through the academy as well, but unfortunately he left to go to Bournemouth, as I say, because he knew he'd get Premier League football with the Premier League talent that he has. He gave everything he could for us. Next up we've got Patrick Bamford. I believe Bamford plays brilliant. Unfortunately he doesn't get as many goals as probably all the fans and himself would like. The contribution he makes to the team is very good. Not everyone realises it. He does get a bit of slack. The amount of space he creates for the team, which no one really realises until you actually look and analyse how much he does. The hold-up play that he can do. When he first came to us, he wasn't that good at it, but it does seem like he has got a bit of strength about himself now compared to when he first signed. Unfortunately, last year he did get injured quite a bit. There was quite bad injuries, so he did miss a fair bit of last year. As soon as all the games commence for the final games of this season, hopefully he'll find his scoring boots and hopefully he'll bag a few more for us. Last up, I've got Luciano Becchio. I was debating whether I had to put Becchio or Beckford in. I'd gone for Becchio, like the amount of chances he created for Beckford and then the amount of chances that he put away after Beckford left. That made me pick Becchio instead. Becchio left to go to Norwich. I believe we got around £3 million and Steve Morrison in that deal. We should have really got more money and play a lot better than Steve Morrison. So with that being said, that's my Leeds United team, including bench of the decade. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what video you want to come out next. The season's getting underway again in a couple of weeks. We're starting away to Cardiff City, which is where we left off. So yeah, just let me know what videos you want. We'll see you in the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.